We're still showing the image we left you with just a short while ago, the radial velocity. This is the Montague radar radial velocity. It's basically showing you the wind direction, more important than the wind speeds around the radar, which is just off the north or the top edge of your TV screen right here. And with the last storm we covered, green color represents winds going away from the radar like this, and the red shading means the radar winds, at least the radar is showing winds going towards the radar like that or like that. So when you have these winds going in different directions from the kind of like near the same point, that's when you can get kind of like some weak rotation to occur. So if this arrow was drawn here and this arrow was drawn here, we'd probably have this kind of flow. It could be a counterclockwise flow if it's on this side, or it would actually be more of like a clockwise flow if it was actually counterclockwise here, clockwise here. The point is there is some rotation that the radar is trying to indicate, and we want to keep you informed about this storm. Let's head back over to the radar if we can, and with the latest imagery, we'll keep for now, this is the Montague radar up. And you can still see here, we basically still have this little bit of a notch right there because this part of the storm is in the warning. Actually, the last tornado warning that our own meteorologist Ryan Finn was covering, we were thinking originally it could have been on the southwest side of the storm, and then we were starting to see some of the hook nature of the storm begin on the northeast side of the storm. And that's not unheard of. It actually looks to me right now that there could be two hook echoes going on with this radar. There could be one right here, and there could be another one right there. Basically what's happening is it's rare to get these so close together and actually both of them having a tornado, but at least maybe two rotating storms, maybe like kind of like two gears working side by side one another. That could very well be the case. What we can do is maybe zoom in on this area between about right here and over to Remsen and Barneveld. Again, excuse me if I mispronounced that town name. We'll show you some of the other areas affected. All right, Westernville, Frenchville, all these areas here, north western area, Steuben, Merrick Corner, Steuben Valley, East Floyd. You are all in the path of this possibly rotating thunderstorm. Actually, I think it probably is rotating, but the possibility with this storm to contain a tornado certainly does exist. We'll continue to check out the storm reports for you, let you know if you see any more damage in the area here, and definitely a very serious situation. If you are living in one of these areas right now and you just tuned in YNN and you're saying, oh, where's the forecast tonight? We're kind of going all out here, wall-to-wall coverage of this tornado warning. This would actually make for our third warning of the night. Actually, I believe that's quite a few just for one night. So again, here from Beartown down to Stoke Corner, excuse me, right in here is where I think there could be some kind of manipulated rotation on radar here caused by this little cluster of storms working through the area. And because New York State has had a history of rotating thunderstorms today and some confirmed weak tornadoes, it's certainly possible that this one too could also have a weak rotating tornado with a weak tornado in this storm. So what I'm going to do here is, if we can just kind of zoom out a little bit here, kind of give you the whole viewpoint of Oneida County. Basically what's going on is this shading of red here and here, I would just ignore that. That's usually what happens when there's a polygon warning inside of a county. It kind of shades the whole county in red. The whole county of Oneida here is definitely not under a tornado warning. It's just this zone here. And this zone right here with the yellow kind of overlaps with the red, making for an orange shading, is where we actually still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. But like I just mentioned about a couple minutes ago, we were kind of focusing in on here, and I think this is why the Weather Service has issued the tornado warning for this half of the storm, the northern half of the storm, because this is the part of the storm that could be showing the rotation, actually is showing the rotation, but could feature, because of that rotation, maybe a weak thunderstorm in the area. Okay, we got a new report here of some barns, actually 2 barns and sheds destroyed in the Palermo area earlier with this cell. So this cell, safe to say, has had a history of producing some pretty good damage, and that Palermo area, again, is way out west into Oswego County. If you're watching us there, you know what happened. There's probably at least some small tree branches probably knocked down in your neighborhood. But we want to continue to focus in on this area here. The tornado warning does remain in effect for the area. We'll put up that information for you on the screen. We'll just click on that warning for you, let you know what's going on with that. Basically, the warning is through 10:15, so we got about 20 minutes left with the warning, and definitely be showing some signs of rotation here. We definitely have maybe excuse me, some heavy rainfall, thunder, lightning with this storm, and we also have some little weak rotation here on this part of the storm. So it's kind of interesting how we have multiple warnings over one cell. I do want to remove the county-wide warning because, again, it's not for the whole county. It's just a certain area here. And there we go. We'll take off the severe thunderstorm countywide warning as well. So there we go. We got two warnings side by side. One's a severe thunderstorm warning. One's a tornado warning. And it looks to me that the Weather Service is thinking that, okay, well, maybe this one isn't rotating but still producing some damaging wind gusts. Usually, though, when we see this, the bowing shape would actually be the other way around, and the bowing would occur winds aloft kind of come out of the surface and push the bow or the line out ahead of itself. So if this was a derecho or straight line wind, that would be kind of aimed in the other direction, or it should be going like this instead of like that. All right, tornado focus though, because again, a lot of storms today have been producing rotation within the storms. We've seen, I think it was an EF0 in southern Herkimer County, and possibly, it was still an unconfirmed report there in Cortland, someone's claiming that they saw a tornado on the ground. We definitely have a new report now in the area, and it looks like we'll be talking more about this as we go through the night. I want to switch over to real quick here, maybe our radio velocity mode, if we can do that real quick. Excuse me. We'll just use again, the radar closest to the storm, which would be the Montague radar. And I do want to address, again, both sides of the storms that look to me like maybe both of them we could feature some rotation here. So if we can definitely maybe clean this up a little bit, and we'll show you again where the storm is basically moving through northern Oneida County, and we are watching some of the suburbs here, again, Westernville included. All right, again, with radio velocity, unlike radar imagery, it's looking at the wind direction with respect to the radar. Now we're using the Montague radar, which is up off the north edge or the top edge of your screen, and where you see the green shading, that's winds going away from the radar, like that, and like that, and like that. And then when you have the red color, that's the winds kind of going towards the radar, up to the northwest like that, and like Ryan Finn is drawing for me right now. Appreciate that, Ryan. And where we do have these side by side, so if say you have one going southeast and one coming up going northwest like this, then you can get some rotation like this, which would be a counterclockwise rotation. But then if you have maybe this storm up here, which to me, a little while ago, I think Ryan was agreeing with me that sometimes you can actually get rotation that kind of goes more clockwise as opposed to counterclockwise. It's kind of rare to see that, but I suppose it's possible based on the notch and the hook that we've been seeing on our SkyTrack or Doppler radar. So maybe two spots with this cluster rotating, and possibly either one spitting out a weak rotating storm, or a tornado that is. So again, I just want to give you a quick analysis with that. If you can go back over to our radar imagery here, again, and keep you updated on this. Been a busy night in the forecast office here, tracking all of the severe weather, and again, been getting report after report of some damage around the area. Now again, I just want to point out quickly here, we have two possible rotating parts of the storm, at least the way it looks to me. One would be right here below the YNN bug, and then one would be up here near Westernville, east of Elmer Hill. Definitely a lot of rain. Thunder, lightning is a given. And even if we don't see any tornadic winds occur at the surface, we can definitely be seeing just generic or straight line wind damage, meaning this wind's causing damage 60, 65 miles per hour. But tornadic winds, even an EF0, like the one that was in southern Herkimer County in Herkimer earlier today, actually produced about 80 mile per hour wind gusts. At least that's based on the damage reports when the Weather Service goes out and surveys the damage. So again, in the area here, maybe we can talk about a storm track through this area here from northwestern to Westernville, Elmer Hill, and points east. Again, this goes through 1015, and basically the storm path looks fairly similar to most of the other storms today. Basically east-southeast, I believe around 25 miles per hour, and anywhere close to that, even 20 miles per hour, probably going to be okay. A couple town names here in the area here. Remsen, you are definitely in the path of the storm. Please take this very seriously. It's not just a run-of-the-mill storm with wind like 30, 40 miles an hour, thunder and lightning, but definitely something for us to really focus in on here for the rest of the night. In case you're just tuning in, Westernville, you're getting hit right now, possibly getting some damage with the wind, maybe a weak tornado here. Newport around 1059, a lot of these other areas out into Herkimer County like Little Falls. Maybe this won't be a rotating thunderstorm by then, but it could still be a storm. Maybe Little Falls and Stratford both getting some damage a little bit later on tonight. It is certainly possible. All right, let's zoom back out a little bit, and we can maybe put a 1-hour loop on this for you here real quick before we do some more analysis. And again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for central Oneida County, but a tornado warning remains in effect for northern Oneida County. And it still looks to me like we got at least one, possibly two little rotating parts to this cluster of storms. And it's not usually common to get two of these, if these are two actual notches here, at least it looks to me. It's not uncommon to see one here in New York State, but to see two so close together, it's tough to pick out which one would be stronger if they're both right now existing, but still a very interesting setup on radar here, and we definitely want to pass along some tornado safety tips for you here. If you haven't heard us cover this tornado outbreak, I want to call that tonight, a couple tornadoes tonight, the safest place to be would be in your basement. If you don't have a basement, I would recommend a bathroom, first floor, get in the bathtub, blankets, pillows, cover up your face. If you have some kids with you, please take them in the bathtub with you as well. Blanket, maybe a mattress even would be ideal because a mattress can cover you up and protect you. Blanket would be kind of a little bit too thin, I think, but still anything you can cover yourself up. You don't want to be near the windows. It's very, very hard maybe to avoid maybe taking pictures and video. I'd recommend not doing that. My colleague here, Ryan Finn, just handed me a report of 1-inch hail 1 mile southeast of Camden. That would be at 9:30. So in the Camden area, which is right here, when those storms came through, we had 1-inch diameter hail, which is now the minimum criteria, basically the size of a quarter, minimum criteria for a storm to be considered severe. But we're not talking mainly about hail tonight. We've been talking about wind damage and possibly tornado wind damage here. And we hear the word tornado, you probably think of the ones that are way out west and the 3s, the 4s, the 5s. This is none of that. It's at least maybe, I would say, like the one Herkimer County of an EF0, which is probably winds up around 80 miles per hour. If this is confirmed, I'm sure they're going to go out tomorrow. The Weather Service is going to be a busy time for them tomorrow. Go out to survey the damage of this storm here. And if they get any reports of trees and stuff down in different directions, that would easily be confirmed a tornado. And then they see how much damage or to what degree did the damage occur. And then they adjust that to possible wind gusts. Maybe if it's an EF1, that would be somewhere between about, I think it's 90 to 105 miles per hour, somewhere in there. So right now, again, we're still watching the radar here closely. Meteorologist Ryan Finn is manipulating the radar for me here. He's a great guy covering that while I'm up at the wall here for you. Definitely some serious weather coming through the area. And I know the sun's down, it's dark out. It's very dangerous when you have a tornado warning issued here at 10 o'clock at night. It goes in effect for another 13 minutes. It expires at 10:15. And if we can stop the radar here, we'll put up the information on the warning. Maybe we can take off the county-wide warning here, not saying all of Oneida County is on the warning. It's just this zone right in here, south of Boonville. Holland Patton, we'll include you here because you're right on the edge of it, especially with this little notch here. But I have to say that I'm kind of surprised that we only still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for this part of Oneida County in the Rome area because we got a little notch right there. Can we flip it over to our Rome camera outside real quick and see if we can see any lightning going on? We'll leave it up for a few seconds here. It definitely looks like you can see some drops maybe on the lens being the light from those lights in the distance are being obstructed a little bit here. We'll see if you can see a couple flashes here. You can definitely see some drops hitting the lens. So we at least have that going on. This camera, I believe, is aimed to the north of Rome. So yeah, I definitely have some rain in the area. Let's go back over to the radar here. We'll check this camera maybe in a little bit once again. So again, tornado warning in effect for eastern now, northeastern Oneida County. If you're watching us maybe in Holland Patton, Remsen, please get away from the windows now. It sounds kind of silly, right? You're thinking, okay, storm's not going to hit my place. It's going to be okay. It's just going to be some heavy rain. It'll be done with. But again, because we've had a history of some of these rotating thunderstorms today to produce a couple weak tornadoes, I would say it's not crying wolf anymore. It's definitely more serious now that we've had a history of these in the area today. But around the Rome area, I want to get back to this because this, to me, still looks like there could be a little bit of a hook going on, a notch, basically a rotation with the thunderstorm cloud itself, actually more maybe than the one going on here west of Remsen. If we can flip on our radial velocity mode, it's been very good to us tonight, analyzing, tracking some of these rotating storms here. We'll kind of clean this up for you and just give you the one image. Yep, it still looks like to me, because again, we're using the Montague radar only. that the green right here, west of Remsen, that's winds going away from the radar like that. We can draw that maybe with our telestrator marker, an arrow going down here, and then right next to it in the red, that would be the winds going towards the radar like this. So you basically have winds kind of going, like that. And then you have another one with the winds kind of going up like this or like that. And then right in here, if you have this going on, the wind's coming down this way and wind's going that way, you can have this, which would actually be on this side. If that would occur, that would be a counterclockwise spin, which is what we usually see here in New York State. However, on this side of the storm, and the wind's going up here too, if you draw another arrow right here going up, and this green still showing away from the radar, we can actually have clockwise rotation, which is pretty rare for New York State to see. But that's actually what happens on this side of the cluster of storms. Usually on the southwest side, you get counterclockwise rotation. If you see this occur, and clockwise rotation on the northeast side of the cluster of storms. So basically, our sky tracker radar here is indicating we're still looking at some rotation with this storm. Let's head back over to our radar here, gives you an update on that, Remsen. I still think you're in the path of this storm. If we can go back over that one radar we just showed you there, I believe that was the Binghamton radar real quick. Flip that up with the Montague. We saw a little bit of shading of pink there. I think I just saw that here. There we go. If we can maybe switch to our hail mode here, this potentially could be indicating some hail. Boom, there it is. We want to zoom in a little bit to get the brightest blue shading there. You can click right in there. You'll see potential hail size right around the Steuben area west of Remsen, quarter-size hail. And that's actually what we got confirmed out west in Oswego County tonight. So hail mode on Sky Tracker, I think, is doing an okay job indicating potential here for 1-inch diameter hail, along with strong winds, along with the potential for heavy rainfall, and possibly a rotating storm producing a tornado. Yeah, even nickel-sized hail is possible in this area. All right, let's head back over to our radar once again. If we can just use that Binghamton radar, that'd be kind of cool, because this one does show, even though we're kind of closer to Montague, sometimes the Binghamton radar does not overshoot, maybe like the Montague radar does. I'm going to zoom back in on here. And it looks like with this image, we may only have one area of rotation now. Could this be this little notch here? And this, again, usually exists on the southwest side of a cluster of storms. You usually have the heavy rain on this part of the storm. And then right in here is where you have the winds going in different directions. Basically, in the atmosphere, it doesn't matter what level, but usually in the mid-levels, you have winds, one direction going this way, one going this way. And then you see rotation like this, horizontal, and then we get a kick. And then it goes vertical like this, and that's when you see the tornado try to reach the ground. Now, again, it's a very dangerous situation here because it's nighttime. You can't see it unless you see lightning maybe next to it, helping to light up the sky. But right now, we're basing it all on reports, maybe a law enforcement or anyone who happens to have, just by chance, seen it, or maybe gotten some damage from this. We do not want you near the windows or outside your home. If you're watching us in this area, Barnveld, over towards Poland, Prospect, Remsen, and Holland Patton, please, please do not do that. We do not want you to risk your life to get pictures or video or email us type of confirmation with all those videos and pictures. We'd rather just have you safe and sound. Again, in the basement would be a great place to be. You need to cover yourself up. Broken glass from windows may not necessarily be the actual wind pushing on the windows, but maybe objects outside hitting the windows and then it breaks the glass. It's happened a lot. We see it in the news out west, so it can certainly happen in this part of the area. If we can just clean off the telestrator layer there for us and maybe go widen out the view, maybe try to do a little bit more storm tracking here. It's about 10:08 now. We have the warning until 10:15, so about another 7 minutes to go with this one here. Basically now, it looks like the Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning into central Herkimer County here, which would include the Newport area and locations north of Herkimer. I know in Herkimer you're probably thinking, oh man, not again, right? We already had one today. We don't want another storm coming through with wind. But the reason why there's a warning put out ahead, it looks like the Weather Service is kind of thinking that, okay, it looks like it's weakened considerably from a short while ago, and it could still produce some damaging wind gusts. So there's some towns for you there. Newport around 10:45. That's about a half hour, 35 minutes from now. Stratford around 11:22. Caroga Lake at 11:47. And down towards Gloversville, which is out of our YNN viewing area here in central New York, at around midnight and 7 minutes past. So definitely some heavy rain right now. Thunder, lightning coming through the Remsen area. And maybe we can check our storm reports for you real quick and see if we have anything new going on in the area. I believe my colleague here, Ryan Finn's checking out some of those right now. Real quickly, though, I do want to just kind of clean this up a little bit. We'll take off the county-wide warnings. Again, we're not seeing warnings for everybody. There we go. We got a new report here, and we'll take a look at this. Looks like we had 1.5-inch hail 1 mile west of Rome at 9:59. Is that correct? Okay, so just shy of 10 o'clock here, about 10 minutes ago. Had some hail reported west of Rome. So 1.5 inch hail, I believe, is that ping pong ball size hail? Is it larger than that? Ping pong ball size hail confirmed there. And we also have a report here of large trees down and some roof damage 3 miles northwest of Rome. So here's Rome right here. The storm looks like it's pretty much cleared that part or that side of Rome. So in this area where the initial warning was issued, it looks like the warning fit where the storm damage did occur. So hopefully us covering the storms in the manner that we do it here at YNN helped out areas, and folks aren't just saying, oh, we didn't know the storm was coming. At least hopefully we gave you a fair enough warning with this kind of damage that no one was injured because of the threat of the storms here. So we're definitely watching, again, the storms as they leave Oneida County and enter into Herkimer County, even here in central sections of Oneida County on the north side of Utica here. Let me head over to our Sky Tracker and kind of give you an idea of maybe some more town names that could be seeing the threat of heavy weather here within the next 5 minutes when we have that warning still in effect. So in and around Utica, north of Utica, say Oriskany, around Rome itself right now. Let's head over to the Rome camera shot here, Bureau Cam. It looks like we got wet roads there on Erie Boulevard. Try and see if you can see some lightning here. This camera, I believe, is aimed to the north, so we may still see a couple of flashes here. I'll give it a couple more seconds before we go back over to the radar itself. Looks like I'm seeing too much here. We'll keep an eye on that as we go through the next couple of hours. Back over to Sky Tracker here. It does look like, though, with the new warning put out into Herkimer County, that the storms won't be going away completely. However, they should no longer be rotating, at least the Weather Service believes, beyond 4 more minutes of the due end time for this tornado warning. So again, tornado warning is in effect until 10:15 for central sections of Oneida County and northeastern Oneida County. It's through 10:15. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for central Herkimer County through 11 p.m. and that does include a few locations here. If I can pan down, we'll show you a couple other areas here. Little Falls, you are included in this. Salisbury, Dolgeville, over towards Middleville, and up towards Norway, Poland, and Russia here, as well as Ohio. So the storm, to me, still appears that we're seeing some weak rotation with. If I can just draw this, try and get an image on here for you. Right in here, it looks like there could be a little bit of a hook. And basically right in this zone, that's where we see the possibility of winds going in different directions. Why there's a notch like this is that there's so much wind getting sucked into the storm here that it actually bends the storm that way, and then the winds come around the backside like that. So if this were to occur, if the rotation is on this side of the storm, that would be a counterclockwise rotation here. However, a little while ago, actually, it looked like if the rotation occurred on this side of the storm, that it would be a clockwise. If it's coming in this way, but winds are going northwest that way, we could see a clockwise rotation. And those are actually not that common to occur here. Tornadoes once in a while do occur in New York State. But if I check out our radial velocity mode, see if we can see confirmation of more rotation with this part of our Sky Tracker mode. If I just use, I think we've been using the Binghamton radar here. That looks like it's been the best one all night. Okay, around Remsen, it still appears we got some green and reds near each other. And again, this is the Binghamton radar, so green is kind of going away from the Binghamton radar, and red's going towards the Binghamton radar, and that's also going towards for the most part. So again, if we had the rotation here, this would be the clockwise one. And if it's on this side, that would be the counterclockwise one. So definitely some serious weather coming through Oneida County at this time. And if you are watching us, say, again, out into Syracuse or Watertown, we're going to widen out the view real quick, show you a wide view of the radar. We've seen a lot of New York State now under quiet conditions, just kind of muggy. We still have temperatures, I believe, in the 70s, actually, quite a bit of places here. But no rough weather outside of this little area right here. Again, we'll just put on the polygon warnings here. We do have only 2 minutes left of this tornado warning, so if in fact this does expire on time, which I think it will, we're going to go back to our every 10-minute mode of severe coverage here, and we'll definitely get you some news in the mix too as well. So let's do, let's say, a 1-hour loop and see how the storm's been doing here. If I can just keep on one radar, because we want to keep this as simple as possible here. Binghamton's been doing okay. With the storm, as it's been working east-southeast here, you can definitely see we've lost some of it on the southwest side. So Rome really didn't see a big brunt of rain and thunder and lightning coming through. It's basically been in this area here. Remsen, you're getting slammed right now with heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and it still appears that right in here, between Barnveld and Remsen itself, that's where the storm could be producing a little bit of weak rotation. And we've been checking out some of those storm reports. Like I just mentioned, we had some hail and some wind damage on the northwest side and west side of Rome. So this is definitely probably producing maybe at least a few more strong wind gusts. We've got about less than a minute left here. If we can go back to our static mode on the radar, definitely showing, see the latest information on the warning here. We'll take you over to that right now. And it looks like there's still a little wedge of it here. It looks like they chopped it off. So I'm going to double check this real quick and see. Now it looks like they've extended it till 10:30 p.m. this evening. And I still think there's some little subtle rotation to this. But what I'd like to do here is kind of just quickly zoom in on this and just see what we're thinking here and give me some new information on this extended warning here, if you bear with me real quick. According to the National Weather Service office, it says at 10:07, National Weather Service Doppler radar indicated a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Stew Bend, moving east at 30 miles per hour. Wind damage has been reported with this storm. It continues to say the storm capable of producing the tornado will be near Trenton, Barnveld, and Remsen right now at 10:15, Trenton Falls and Hinckley by 10:20. And of course, we're just going to still watch this as it leaves the Stew Bend area, Remsen area. Again, tornado warning has been extended now till 10:30 this evening. If you're watching us, again, Prospect area, Poland, Holland, Patton, you're getting slammed with rain right now. And what I'd like to do is maybe if we can just quickly go over to our radial velocity once again, see if this is confirming the extension of the warning here, which I think probably has at least some weak rotation to it. And again, it's with this little part right here. You got Binghamton radar is on, red going away, red going towards the radar like this, green going away from the radar like this, and again, more red here. So we're definitely seeing at least something trying to turn here. It's not, again, it's not gone away completely. It's definitely weakened. However, the Weather Service agrees, at least thinks, that we still have some very subtle rotation with the storm that could be producing a weak tornado. So again, we're going to continue the coverage here through 10:30 now, because the severe, it was a tornado warning, has now been extended until 10:30 p.m. And we definitely have, with all the radar imageries here, let's see if we just use Montague, see how that looks. Okay, if we just use the Montague radar, it looks a little bit smoother with actually the contours here of the reds and the oranges and such. If I just put on the polygon warning, I think we can keep this going here. Again, around Barnveld, we're definitely watching this storm. And Remsen, you're getting hit with heavy rainfall right now. Prospect, Stew Bend Valley, East Floyd, Holland Patton down towards Stittville, South Trenton, Russia, Poland, Coldbrook, you're in the path of the storm, even though the warning only goes to the Oneida-Herkimer County border. Anyone beyond the border could certainly experience some strong, damaging wind gusts here, and the potential is there for some hail. We haven't looked at the hail mode in a while, and we've been getting some reports of hail around the area. Let's see what SkyTracker thinks possible hail size could be. It's indicating here between Remsen and Prospect, maybe penny-size hail. That would be 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So not really. This used to be the minimum criteria for severe thunderstorm hail. It is now upgraded to 1-inch hail by the Weather Service across New York State, across the country there. So not technically severe due to the fact for hail, but as we take a look again at the radar here, we'll want to get you an update on that. Basically, with all the radars here, when we usually use 1 or 2, that could still be a little bit of an overlap, a little bit too much for one image. But if we just use, let's try Binghamton instead of Montague here, that is indicating this shading here from Northwood to Remsen of some pink. And that's probably indicating maybe the possibility of some of that hail we saw in hail mode trying to go in that direction. That would, usually anytime you see pink on a radar, that's such strong radar returns that hail is probably going to be a given there. But down to the south here, again, with this one radar, it doesn't really show a little confined area of a little hook or notch. But if we switch it up to, let's just use Montague instead of Binghamton, it shows it maybe a little bit right here. Right between Barnveld and South Trenton, right in there, and maybe a little bit of a weak, subtle to this part of the storm here. Again, this is not looking super impressive like we've seen earlier today. It's just, again, we're trying to cover the warning here through 10:30 for another like about 10, 11 minutes here. Tornado warning has been extended until 10:30 for extreme southeastern, or really extreme eastern, Oneida County. And again, the best advice you can pass along anytime you hear a tornado warning, whether it's in this part of our viewing area, if it's in Syracuse, if it's up north, wherever it is, please, please, I'd recommend taking it very seriously, because the one time that you don't take it seriously is when there could be damage maybe close to where you live. We have had a history of reports today of 1.5-inch hail reported 1 mile west of Rome around 10 o'clock this evening. It's about 20 minutes ago. And we also had some large trees down and some roof damage 3 miles northwest of Rome. So in this area, they've already seen reports of damage. It could certainly be happening right this second where these storms are in eastern Oneida County. And again, it's mainly north of Utica. If you're watching us in the Utica area right now, you're wondering, okay, well, where's all the storms? Well, they're north of you. They're not affecting the immediate Utica area. It is north of Utica and up into a couple places here like Remsen. Have been hard-hitting Remsen. It's been getting a lot of heavy rainfall in that area tonight. Prospect, Barnveld, over towards Northwood, where again we're watching this little part of the storm right in here. There's a little subtle bit of a little bit of a notch, and kind of like right in here too, another small little one, but definitely showing some signs of weakening, although the Weather Service thinks that the storm has the potential to continue for another 10 minutes with possible rotation in it. So we'll continue to bring you updates on this as we go through the next 10 minutes here. We appreciate you staying with us all night long. You know, we had multiple tornado warnings in the same night here for YNN. We had one warning earlier today. Actually, there wasn't even a warning with it. We had a confirmed EF0 report in southern Herkimer County in Herkimer. We also had a report unconfirmed in Cortland, and we also had some wind damage reported up into Oswego County. And I think it was a few law enforcement people actually saw what they thought was a tornado at the time. So again, a lot of unconfirmed reports, but sometimes if they see it, sometimes that can issue a warning, but sometimes Doppler radar was usually the main indicator to issue a tornado warning. Okay, so the warning remains in effect until 10:30 for eastern Oneida County. If you're watching us here, again, a couple pieces of advice I can pass along to you would be, if you're watching us right now on TV and you're thinking, okay, not that bad of a storm, right? Well, again, it could be the one time that you get hit, maybe your property get hit here, Prospect, Remsen, again, right in this zone, extending out into central Herkimer County. When you get a storm this strong, you may not even get tornadic winds. You may just get outflow winds. They have these outflow boundaries where it's raining so hard in the storm that actually pushes air out ahead of the storm itself, and that causes sometimes gust fronts or just a shield of wind that gets extended out away from the center part of the storm, and that can actually be enough wind to cause some damage. Small tree branches, maybe fly objects in the windows, and you don't want to be near that window when it breaks because you'll get cut with glass. You want to keep the kids away from the windows as well. Again, if you're watching us right in this area here, eastern Oneida County, west central Herkimer County, northwest of Little Falls. Little Falls is actually way off the bottom edge of the screen right there. But this storm, again, it's just kind of like a cluster of rain, thunder, lightning right now. It doesn't mean that we're seeing a confirmed report still with it. It may have had it earlier. We may have had it jump back up in the cloud and just kind of rotate again some more. But we'll still keep in the threat here for maybe at least some wind with that. Now, this latest radar sweep doesn't really show much more possible rotation with it. It actually looks quite a bit weaker than the image that was up just before it here. But we'll continue to update you the next 7 minutes here about the warning that's going on here in eastern Oneida County, and also a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Herkimer County through 11 p.m. Now, what I want to do here is we'll take that off and we're going to widen out the view and show you what's going on across the rest of our YNN viewing area here. We definitely have some very quiet weather, a couple little showers here roaming through St. Lawrence and Franklin County. We also have some showers down to our south in Otsego, Delaware, and Schoharie County. It's just this one little cluster right here, and I think it's in the process of weakening quite a bit. And I don't think we're going to have any more tornado warnings tonight. Hopefully, that will stay true. What I want to do maybe is put a little bit of a storm track on this real quick. I believe these storms are moving off to the east at roughly 25 miles per hour. So we'll take that with respect to the storm and extend this out and see the best we can with possible towns maybe being affected by this. We'll do the best we can right there. Okay, a couple towns in the area. Newport around 1043, Stratford, which is basically on the edge of our YNN viewing area with out to the east there, and further locations off to the west. We're going to clear this off for you here, go back over to the one area affected, zoom in on this area. I'd like to try maybe our hail mode one more time to see if we have any hail potential, and it looks like we do. Hail mode is indicating here on Sky Tracker maybe nickel-size hail cutting through Prospect and Northwood, heading further east towards Ohio and Gray. All right, radial velocity mode here, keeping up with this. This has actually been doing a pretty good job tonight, I think, with showing rotation on radar. I have to give it to Sky Tracker and the radar imageries that we look at to determine what's going on with the storm to help us out here with forecasting. It's been doing a pretty good job. All right, now with just looking at the Binghamton radar, it doesn't look like we have much rotation at all. If I just try the Montague radar, it too doesn't show much of a difference in color, except maybe down here around Holland Patton, but that's a little bit away from the actual center part of the cluster of storms. We're going to go back over. Actually, it's trying to tail end of it, so it's possible right in here we could see something, but for the most part right now I just think it's going to be heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and maybe some small hail. It does appear, though, that the threat for new warnings should be diminishing here quite soon. We do have a cold front that's trying to clear the area, and that cold front has been responsible for kicking up all of the severe storms tonight in our YNN viewing area. Tornado warning, again, in effect for this little wedge of Oneida County through 10:30, so we got about less than 5 minutes to go, and it does appear that into central Herkimer County is where we do still have the threat for maybe some damaging wind gusts and quarter-size hail or larger. If you're watching us in southern Herkimer County, it's kind of like central Herkimer County, you could still find the threat for not just heavy rain, thunder, lightning, but the damaging wind gusts and the hail. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. Maybe do an hour loop on this, and think about when these storms were in Rome, or northwest of Rome, right in here. If I stop this and just kind of drag it back in time, where we did have those reports of wind damage, that was right in here. So it looked like this little notch here definitely indicated the potential for the damaging wind gusts and possibly the hail, where we did have hail reports, so definitely hail. But then when we drag this out into the future, look how that part of the storm kind of weakened. We had another little cluster of storms flare up on the northeast side, and then we bring it back to the current image. So quite an evolution of the storms. Actually, these ones, I believe, popped up in Oswego County. We had them just kind of flare up out of nowhere off Lake Ontario, and after they flared up, that's when we continued to track them. We had some reports of visual sightings over in Oswego County. I believe in the Palermo area we had some damage as well, and it looks like the storms are still trying to hold themselves together. They don't want to let up just yet. Let's again use just the Binghamton radar. That one looks a little bit choppy, so maybe we'll switch to Montague. Okay. Definitely have the heavy rain, the thunder, the lightning going on here, and probably if the rain comes down pretty hard, a lot of standing water, ponding of water on the roadways. Just a friendly reminder, we do have a tornado warning in effect until 10:30 tonight for extreme eastern Oneida County. The storm cluster now is almost leaving Oneida County, entering into Herkimer County, but I'm thinking that they're not going to extend this into Herkimer County. I think we'll just go back to every 10 minutes live here, and we'll do that as we change it up here beyond, say, 10:30. I think after 10:30, we will be jumping back into our regular news programming here, like we've been kind of doing after the previous two tornado warnings earlier tonight. Okay, so again, the areas here in yellow in central Oneida County, I don't really think that this warning makes sense except for the eastern part of it here, possibly seeing maybe a couple more damaging wind gusts on the southwest side of the storm. Definitely agree with the one that's in Herkimer County, though, based on the wind reports, the damage reports you've already received across Oneida and into Oswego County earlier this evening. And in case you're watching us right now and you want to get a quick idea of what's going on with the weather, basically what's going on tonight, if I can try and get over to our forecast here, at least give you an idea. Basically, this is the forecast here for tonight. We've got 50s and 60s for the low. We definitely have tomorrow temperatures 60, maybe near 60, a couple 70s. A lot of clouds up north tomorrow, a couple showers possible, any one of our areas here, but definitely a lot cooler than it's been lately, and zero chance of severe storms tomorrow, I think. Definitely, I definitely would agree with that. All right, getting back over to the radar image here before we leave you. We got 2 more minutes now of the warning. And still watching these, they're weakened so much within the past 10, 15 minutes. I don't think we have to worry too much about any more, at least new rotation, new development of rotation with these storms. It's really interesting how we've had multiple tornado warnings here in New York State within a matter of, say, 6 to 8 hours or less than that tonight. Incredible stuff here in YNN country, but we wanted to do the best job we could and providing coverage for all of you tuning in. In fact, a lot of this didn't affect most of the area. It really only affected a small fraction of the area, but again, we don't want to leave that fraction of the area out when we consider our weather coverage here at YNN. All right, this is another zoomed out look here. We're looking at, again, a couple cells up towards Port Lydon, actually east of you, and in the North Country, a couple quick little heavy showers here, well southeast of Norwood and southwest of Brushton. So again, I want to focus on this. We'll have to watch live on the air with you here. I'm going to be watching here. As soon as they take that red box off, we will toss it back over to our news stories here and give you an update on that, and probably see what's going to happen with the radar here if we see that warning extended in Herkimer County through 11 p.m. But I have a feeling that that too may even be dropped based on the radar trends here. It's certainly possible we could see some damaging wind gusts still. Okay, there you go, exactly at 10:30. Actually, our YNN bug, I think, says 10:29, but there you go, 10:30. We have the National Weather Service dropping or allowing the tornado warning to expire on time. It also killed the severe thunderstorm warning in central Oneida County. We're going to give you more updates as we go through the night here on the forecast. And of course, we'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll give you our update on what's going on with the radar. So we're going to send it back over to news now. Thanks again for tuning in and following our severe weather coverage this evening.